So the statement saying that given an array of n elements, how elements, n elements, right, and that contains element from 0 to n minus 1, means start with the 0 index and go to n minus 1 index, so that you have to check. So whenever you make the loop, make sure you will start with the index 0 and you have to go to n minus 1 as we traverse in the array, right? So with any of these number appearing any number of times, so find these repeating numbers in O of n, use any you can say use only constant memory space, right? So no extra space we have to use for the program, in the program, right? And we do not have to repeat this you can say multiple loops, right? Means if we want to compare the two values, we will not go with the two for loop, right? Internal for loops are not with the nested for loop, should not be there like this, right? So we have to see this also. Okay, also saying note, repeating elements should be printed only once, it should not print multiple times, right? Like this you can see here. So here duplicate element is what, 6, 3 and 1, right? So you cannot repeat multiple times, right? Like 6 is coming 2 times, so we cannot write 6 6 3 3 and then 1 1, right? Like this you cannot print like this, you have to write what, 1 3 6 like this. Okay, so I think you understand the program. Okay, so I will suggest you, let's pause this video and open our editor and write the code, Java code, and then try to implement this one, right? So initially you will see some problem is coming, but you try to focus how to implement it. So basically when when you will start with the problem, right, you will start with to loop, right? Basically to see my code is working or not, right? So let's suppose I have created a function that find duplicate, in which we have integer array we are getting as an argument, right? So I have created one temp array, and then I'll create two for loops, right? That start from I equal to 0 and it goes to length, right? The first for loop is here. Okay, next we are going inside another for loop that I will go to start from I plus 1. So all the values will compare one by one. Okay, now you can see we have array at I equal to array of j if the elements is equal, right? Means we are going to what, we are going to put into the temp, right? And then we'll return the temp. Okay, so this will return you an array, that is the temp array. So we are saving in the temp array, so we'll return this, right? When we are going to print this, right, so we will make a for loop. If dup at I not equal to 0, then we'll print this, right? Means what we are doing, we have, let's suppose we have 1 2 3 6 3 6 1, right? We will optimize this code, but first of all, let's suppose how we will write the first approach that you will, the code will come in your mind, right? So this is the approach we are going to create with the two for loop, right? We have created the two for loop and then we are comparing the value. So how we are going to compare, let's see. So after that what we will do, let's suppose this is our array. Okay, so give me 1 second, I will write like this, sorry. Okay, like this. So I will suggest, I am thinking I will start the I from here, right? And I'll start j from here. Okay, and then it will go like this. Okay, so when I is at 0, j is at 1, right? So I will compare these two value, I and j, I will compare, right? And if the value is equal, then what we will do, we will add onto the temp. So as you can see, right, when it is going when I is at 1, so I will compare with all this value. So I will see, we will see here I, right? So I will check one by one element, it will check, right? It will check and it will see, oh, when j is going to here, right, at this position, oh, we got the value 1, and once the value will equal, right, we will put into the temp. I think this is very easy program, so I'm not going to do in the deep, right? Just I'm saying we will compare I and j value once the you can say array at I, right, is equal to array at j, right? So here array at I is what, 1, when array at j is 1, right? So we will put into the temp. So we are putting at I equal to 1, we are putting here temp at I. This is your temp. Okay, so here I value is what, 0, right? Here I value is 0, but here j value is what, j is starting from 1, then it will 2, it will start from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, right? 6 near the 6 when it's 6. So when I is 0, 6 at j, then we are seeing, oh, value is coming like this, and then we are comparing one by one value and will put into the temp, and when temp is not equal to 0, we'll print this value, right, like this. So this is very simple program. Here the time complexity will be what? O of n square. Why? Because we have two loop here, right? So if you run this program, you will see I have created a program files find duplicate.java, and then I have run the program java find duplicate, right? And you can see these three values we are getting this one, right? So this is a good way to initiate your thought and how we will compare the each values. That is perfect, right? But we have to think about the code, right? So why you see the complexity, right? So this code doesn't meet the time and the space complexity requirement, right? So the the code that we have written here having complexity of n square, right? So that we can see here, okay? The complexity is of n square, and due to the nested loop that we have created, right? And we have of n extra space for duplicate that we have taken temp array, right, to store the value, right? That will take of n. As you can see here, the size is what we have taken for the temp array at line number 12, array dot length, right? So it will be like that only, okay? So now you pause this video and think how we will optimize this code, right? So I'm saying to achieve O of n time complexity and O of 1 extra space, what you have to do, right? So you have to think yourself, right? So you can use this input array itself to mark the visited element. Let's suppose you have given the element and you will see this is already visited. If already visited, so you will mark that element and will say, once we'll see if this is visited, it means what? This is duplicate, and you will return in output. You will print directly, right? So pause this video and try to implement, go through the array element of n, because all the element you have to traverse, and mark them visited. If it is already visited, then what you have to do? You have to print that value, okay? So if you have already tried, okay, so let's continue. So how I have optimized the solution, right? So I have created a you can say this function, right? So this find function I have created here. I am passing the argument. We have to pass the array. So duplicate element we have to find. This is just a console message for that. And what I'm trying to do, you have to create a O of n complexity, right? So only one for loop you have to write, okay? Now if you write math.absolute array at I, whatever the value we have, we will say this is the index value, okay? We are getting the array element, we will get the array element index and we'll make index, right? And now what we will do, we'll say array at index, if some value is coming, is greater than equal to 0. Means if the value at the index is already negative, right, means it's a duplicate value, right? Means there is some value, right? So let's suppose if we have 1, right? So when array at I, we are getting what? 1, okay? So when we got the index value is what? 1. When we are going 2, the index value is what? 2. When we are going with element 3, we'll get the index value what? 3, right? When we are getting index value 6, right, we will get what? 6. So like that we will get this element or array element, right? But when we reach here in the if condition, we'll say array at index greater than equal to 0. So we have already got these are the indexes, right? These are the indexes. So array at index 1, I'm talking about this value, right? Means what we have got? We have got 1. It is greater than equal to 0. Then we will mark this as minus. So this line is doing like this, right? So we are marking this, right? We have marked this value as this, okay? Now again what we will do? We'll get 2. So we'll say array at 2 if it is greater than equal to 0, right? So array at 2 is what? See here, at 0 1 2, we have got 3. Then what we will do, we will mark at -3, right? Then we will do what, array at what we have 3, right, index 3. So at 3 we will go, we'll see, oh, this is at 3, so this will do -6. So like that we will mark all these elements at index, right? When you again you will get this value 3, right, where at this index. It means what, at 3 we get what, again we'll get the 3 value, right? So when you go and you will check again array at 3, right, it is greater than equal to 0 or not, right? So array at index, this value we have already marked it as a negative value, you can see here, right? So it is coming -1, right? So if it is -1, this loop will break. What happened, this will the code will not go in this loop, right? What control will not go in this loop, if it will come to the control in the else condition, not in the if, right? So what we will get, there is some value, right? So we will print the index. What is the index we have, 3, so we are printing 3 is duplicate, right? Then we'll get what, another value similarly, then we'll get 6, then we'll get similarly 1. So like that you will get 1 3 6 as a duplicate element, right? I think you got it, right? So let me recap one more time. What we are going to do, so we will say this is our element 1 2 3 6 3 6 1, okay? So we will mark this as a array. So give me 1 second, I will mark this for your better understanding. So this is 0 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? So this is your I, let's suppose this is your I, it is an index, right? And this is your array. Now when we find the absolute index, right, so what will happen, index will become what, so math.abs means absolute value. We are passing array at element I. Array at element is what we have here, we have 1, right? We will get 1, so we'll get 1, right? Then we will get what, we will get we have got the index, right? Once you got the index, what we will do, array at index I means at 1, array at index 1 we are talking about. So I'll write in place of that, you can say, yeah, so array at index 1 means we are talking about this element, right? So we will mark it at what, -2. Then will come array at 1, right, means we have 2, so it will become -2. At -2 what we at 2 what we have is 3 element, so we'll mark it as a 3. So like that you have to mark this element. So we'll get all the element we will get like this, right? Similarly it will happen 1 -1 -6, right? Once you have 1 3 6 done -1, so when you will I will reach to here, right, in this for loop, right, when I is at 4, right? So you will get the index 4, right? So you will get array at index. Array at index is what, 4, a of 4, let's suppose, and this is what we are getting, index at 4 is 3. You will get 3. So 3 is greater than or equal to 0, right? You have got what you have got here at array at this one, right? You have got the index, right? How will get the index, how will you get this index, array dot I means this is, you will get array at 4, right? Array at 4 is what, 3, means we are talking about a of 3, right? So here a of 3 we are talking, right? So when a of 3 we are going to talk, what is the value at a of 3 is -3, right? -6. A of 3 is -6. It means, is it duplicate? Yeah. So the control will not go here in this line. What you will go, it will go in the else condition. So you will print index value, right? So you will get the 3, output will get 3. So like that you have to see. So you can see we are getting the element 3, then 6, then 1, right? You will print this value, you will get the value. Okay, so let's understand the complexity. So first of all, the approach we have to do, we have to mark the visited element, right? We have to traverse the array element. So for each element right? Array at some index will be there, so we will calculate the index as the absolute value of the array, right? Array element. So if the value at this index is positive, right, we will mark it as a negative, minus we will do and we will mark it. So if the value at this index is already negative, it means the element has already been visited, right? So it's a duplicate value, right? Now we'll talk about the complexity, time complexity, right? So it is, we are getting only one for loop, right? And for that, because we have to traverse all the element, right? And that is why we have written one for loop, right? So we will take O of n times. And when we are talking about the space complexity, we have not taken any extra spaces, right? So we will say, apart from the variables, we can take the variables values, right? And so it is O of 1 time. So this approach gives you the input arrays for making your array elements as a marking element, visited element, right? We can say, and then we are optimizing our space complexity and time complexity. I hope you enjoy this video, and if any doubts, please ping me in the comment box. And if you like this video, please subscribe this channel for more videos like this. If you have any suggestion, please put me in the comment box. Thank you for watching this video, guys.